Speaking of a doozy, Matt, it's been 7 years since David O. Russell gave us his last effort. That film was called Joy. He is back in a big way with his latest Amsterdam. It sports a cast that includes Christian Bale, Margot Robbie, John David Washington, Chris Rock, Anya Taylor-Joy, Robert De Niro, Mike Myers, Taylor Swift, and others. The talent is clearly there, but how is the finished product? Matt Kay and I hit the theaters to find out. Amsterdam opens up with Bert, played by Christian Bale, who is a doctor, and his longtime friend and associate, Harold, played by John David Washington, being summoned to do a secret autopsy of an older man who turns out to have been their army general when they served in World War I. The general's daughter, played by Taylor Swift, has asked that they do the autopsy because she cannot trust any of the elite in New York. This quickly lets us know that there is a larger conspiracy at play here. What is it and how big? Well, that takes some time to get to. First, we have a staged murder that is pinned on Bert and Harold. They have to clear their names before they can move on to the bigger crime at hand. We also get a flashback to how Bert and Harold met while serving in the war together. This is also when they met Valerie, played by Margot Robbie. The three of them made a bond that will last their whole lives. Turns out they run into Valerie again in New York while trying to clear their names, and she agrees to help the pair uncover what? That's the question that drives the plot of the movie. And while it's not all that complicated, we will not spoil it here. In their attempt to uncover the mystery, they come across most of Hollywood. Mike Myers pops up as a guy who sells glass eyes. His partner is Michael Shannon. Later, we meet an army colonel played by Robert De Niro. There's also Rami Malek as a shady doctor, Anya Taylor-Joy as his wife. Plus, Chris Rock shows up for a few scenes just for good measure. The cast is large and fantastic. They are all having fun, maybe too much so. I have to say, this is the funniest Christian Bale has ever been. I think I either laughed or at least giggled at every line he said in the movie. The two problems I had with Amsterdam was that it came off as bloated and took too long to get to the finish line. Director David O. Russell has earned the right to have final cut on his movies. I think what he created here, the characters and the world they populate, was hilarious, and I enjoyed almost all aspects of it. But too much of a good thing can turn sour. I do need to mention, this is based on a true fact. I think the story around the fact is largely made up, but the central idea and conspiracy did take place, and something I'm going to read about after I do this podcast. Amsterdam is overstuffed and runs a tad long, but damn it, I had fun with it. How about you, Matt Kay?
Yeah, I had fun with it too. There's some genuinely good laughs in it. Felt a little old fashioned, and not just because it was set in the the 30s. I don't know. You're right though. It meanders a little too much. The conspiracy, what the whole thing is actually about, I was kind of like, meh. It was a little lackluster. There wasn't some really good mystery. Like, they almost got to something good, and then they just kind of went conventional with what was happening. So I don't know. I think there's an attempt to say a little something there, to maybe have a little subtext with our current political environment, which is cool, and I can appreciate that, but I feel like it's been done a lot, and it's possibly been done better. But I agree with you. Christian Bale, I was thinking, was he funnier in American Hustle? Maybe, but it's pretty close. He's probably funnier in this one because he's wearing a lot less makeup. He's just kind of being himself, kind of goofy. It's good.
Right. He's wearing less makeup, but I mean, it still actually does have quite the prosthetic going because he has a glass eye, and he was injured during the war where he took all kinds of shrapnel to the face. So he has this major scar over his face, and it's in a way played for laughs because he just looks so funny with his hair, his glass eye, and his expressions that he makes when he's particularly shocked or confused by something else that's happening in front of him. I loved it all. And obviously, as a doctor that's working with veterans, to help ease their pain. And there was a lot of, at that time, not a lot of help out there for the veterans. And him being a veteran himself, he understands what these people have gone through. And so a couple of times he's always talking about, take this new pill. It's the best thing for you, even though he's trying it. And, 5 minutes later, he's on his face on the floor because it's so strong. But he was great. I loved his performance.
He's the best part of the movie. There's no doubt. Margot Robbie, also really, really good. Like I just, the camera loves her. I love her. She's a tremendous actress. And the whole cast was great. I loved seeing De Niro pop up, Chris Rock.
Sometimes a large cast can almost be annoying, or it almost feels too much. Like, oh my God, they're trying too hard to cram everybody in. I didn't feel that here. I thought everybody fit the role pretty well, even though every single scene that would open up to a new character was a pretty big name. Yeah.
There's really not too many small names that are characters. Do we even mention Taylor Swift?
Yeah, I mentioned her, but yeah, she's only in it for a short period of time, a couple of scenes, but still actually pretty good. I mean, for the year of the pop star turned actor, we had Harry Styles, obviously, and Don't Worry, Darling, and now Taylor Swift in this. I had no issue with her here. I thought fit the role, because it was a small role, fit it perfectly.
Yeah. And dude, how nervous must Taylor Swift have been to be acting in a movie with all those titans, Like, granted, she's not in a scene with Robert De Niro or anything, but still, I mean, Christian Bale, he's big.
Mm-hmm. So the
Washington too.
Oh, absolutely. John David Washington. So you got the central point here being this conspiracy. And as I mentioned, it takes a little bit too long to reveal itself. And I think that's where it just gets a little clumsy here. It's just enjoying itself too much. And in the long run, I felt myself getting a little antsy with understanding where it was going. I think there's a point, maybe about 30 minutes left of the movie. You more or less get the idea of the conspiracy. And it's like, all right, let's get to the point already. Let's get to it. And I hate that frustration when it just overstayed its welcome a little bit too long.
Yeah, the ending is a little messy. There's parts of it I liked, parts of it I didn't. That's kind of how I feel about the whole movie. I liked it a lot in certain parts, and other parts I was like, let's keep going here.
In a way, I thought that this was quite similar to a Wes Anderson. Not nearly as quirky, and the world that they are in is grounded in reality, where usually in the Wes Anderson universe, the world itself is just so quirky and unique that it's, its own thing. This is really tied to like a history, so it's a little bit different. But did you
David O. Russell?
I know, but did you feel the vibes where it was almost characters were almost so quirky that it almost could have been a Wes Anderson kind of movie?
If Wes Anderson had been tapped to direct this same script, yeah, I can see that. But it's also very David O. Russell-ish. It's the classic, lovable rogues kind of moving through a conspiracy where you always think they're one step behind, but they turn out to be one step ahead. It's very American Hustle.
It is. He's really carving out his identity here with taking something kind of obscured in American history, an odd story, and then basing like a very hilarious story around it. Same with American Hustle, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And he did it again here, where there is a basis of truth of what this is based on, but it's really just a hilarious story and funny characters all around it.
Yeah, I want to see more of this from him. Is this as funny as American Hustle? No, it's not.
I think so.
You do?
Yeah, I don't.
Come on, but that scene with Bradley Cooper beating up Louis C.K. that was like side splitting.
I do think that the highs of American Hustle are probably higher than Amsterdam, but I think throughout the entire movie, I think I was laughing and chuckling a lot more throughout Amsterdam than I was American Hustle.
I'll take American Hustle, but I did like Amsterdam quite a bit. It's a nice sequel.
Was there spiritually? Yeah. Was there a jaw-dropping moment here, Matt?
Oh yeah. I know. You sort of have to dance with this one. The T-Swift squish. That's where I'm going to leave that. People who see the movie will know what I'm talking about. A shocking moment we did not see coming. It's involving the character that Taylor Swift plays, and wow, they really went for that, huh? That was what it was. It was pretty amazing. Yeah. Definitely jaw-dropping.
It happened so fast, I thought I almost missed it. You know, I was like, whoa, did that just happen?
Luckily, they show it twice.
I had thought the same thing. I was like, okay, now I saw it. Good thing they showed it twice. For me, it's seeing Mike Myers in this role where he plays this guy who sells glass eyes. On this podcast, we've been asking for the Mike Myers Renaissance. You know, we're waiting for him to make his. Yeah, you actually said it on the podcast. You think he's going to have a big comeback, you had said. And I think he will too. But I think it's these kind of roles that he should stick to for a while before he goes on and tries to do another Austin Powers or, you know, I know he was in some Netflix show, but stick to these kind of like quirky supporting characters, because I had a joy with Mike Myers. Granted, he's a smaller part in this movie, but it is a large ensemble. But man, did I laugh at him also.
I guess, but boy, oh boy, am I tired of Mike Myers popping up as the British spy in a movie.
I'm no spoil this joke. At one point, he's asking for tea, and they're sitting around, and somebody comes up and throws water right in his face. That was absolutely hysterical.
Really? That one got you, huh?
Oh my God. Just his reaction, the timing of it all, how he announces it to the restaurant. It was fantastic.
Yeah. Don't know. Still on the fence with Mike Myers.
Movie poster quote?
While it didn't get me all the way to Amsterdam, I was definitely in Europe somewhere.
I went with a large cast having a blast. No conspiracy here.
How many
jaws, Matt?
All right. I would give this 2.5 jaws.
I'm at 3.5 jaws.
Wow.
3.5 jaws for Amsterdam.
Damn.
It could have been 4 jaws if you could have just condensed it a little bit for me.
Yeah, I liked it a lot. You might be able to squeeze a half jaw out of me and bump it up to 3, but I'm sticking with 2.5 for now.
I mean, you know what they say about Amsterdam. This is what they say.
What do they say, Ryan?
What happens in Amsterdam usually involves a doctor visit after.
Well, you would know, buddy, right? You've been there.
I have.
Did you have to go to the doctor afterward?
2.5 jaws for Matt K. 3.5 jaws for Rye the Movie Guy. Amsterdam opens up in theaters October 7th. When you see this one, Jawheads, let us know what you think. Shoot us a tweet. We are at CinemaJaw, or you can write us an email, feedback@cinemajaw.com.